This is why UFC fighters are actually scared of Ilia Topuria.
You can't take anything away from Topuria. If he puts a hand on you like that, you're gonna go down.
Who would even fight Ilia? Thank God he didn't accept my call out.
It's just so weird how some people just have this weird power. Yeah. It's just different.
Undefeated in the UFC, and now the lightweight champion after moving up from featherweight, Ilia Topuria has become one of the most dangerous forces the sport has ever seen. But the fear didn't start with the belt. It started the moment he began running through fighters like they were warm-up drills. One of the first fighters to experience Topuria's dominance was Damon Jackson back in 2020. When they were booked to fight at UFC Vegas 16, the unranked matchup didn't generate much hype, but Topuria was determined to make a statement in just his second UFC appearance.
This guy, he's just a new generation of fighter where they're coming in, they're solid jiu-jitsu, they're solid boxing, they got solid kicks, solid, wrestling defense. This could be like a Stephen Bonner, Forrest Griffin type matchup where we slug it out and, the fight never sees the ground.
Inside the cage, Topuria put on a brutal striking clinic. He immediately went to work on Jackson's body with powerful hooks and uppercuts, forcing Jackson to drop his guard low. After softening him up with relentless body shots, Topuria made his move. He landed a vicious left hook to the liver, overhand right, that knocked Jackson unconscious against the cage at 2:38 of the first round.
Of course, the game plan was to hurt him and stand up, and I was knowing that when he was hurt, he will start to search for the takedown.
The knockout was a statement. Topuria had just announced himself as a legitimate prospect at featherweight, and he was only getting started. Next came Ryan Hall at UFC 264 in July 2021. Hall was one of the most dangerous submission specialists in the entire UFC, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu wizard with an unorthodox style that had frustrated every opponent he'd faced. Heading into the fight, Hall gave Topuria his respect, but was confident in his own abilities.
I've seen him fight prior. He's a very tough guy. I came here to fight the best. He represents a great challenge and a great opponent, and that's why I signed up immediately. I don't turn down fights. If you're good, if you're tough, I don't care who you are, I will fight you.
Topuria, however, was dismissive of Hall's grappling credentials and even more dismissive of his striking.
Yeah, for me, he's like a normal person. How can I say you? Nothing special for me. Because, like I said, where I grow up, I have a lot of guys who has a very similar style to him. So it's a good opportunity for me. He's not so good like everyone is talking about. No, of course, I'm gonna try to be in stand up all the time, but I have no problems to go with him in the ground. Because if you see him, he has 4 fights inside the UFC, and he has just one submission against a BJ Penn who wasn't the same guy. We was watching him like 10 years ago. He was an older man, and he get the submission, but he have another 3 fights, and it was disgusting. I'm sorry.
Nice.
Man, come on. He's very bad in striking. He don't has a knockout power. He's just shitty kicks and nothing else.
Inside the cage, Hall tried everything in his playbook. He rolled for leg locks, attempted Imanari rolls, and looked for any opening to drag Topuria into his world. But Topuria was ready for it all. He stuffed every submission attempt, punished Hall with brutal body shots whenever he dove for legs, and maintained perfect composure. Then, in a scramble, Topuria got behind Hall and unleashed a barrage of unanswered hammer fists and ground and pound, forcing the referee to stop the fight at 4:47 of the first round. Hall had been knocked out, his first loss in the UFC. He dominated and finished one of the best grapplers in the UFC. After back-to-back first-round finishes, Topuria was riding high, but his next test would be his toughest yet. At UFC London in March 2022, he faced Jai Herbert, a dangerous British striker with knockout power and a significant reach advantage. Making matters worse, Topuria was fighting in hostile territory, the O2 Arena in London, where the crowd was firmly behind their hometown fighter. Herbert had studied Topuria and knew what to expect.
I expect him to come out, try and trade, and then shoot for a double leg. But you never know, he could come out and start doing some spinning heel kicks and everything, so he's got to be prepared for everything.
When the cage door closed, Herbert came out firing and nearly ended Topuria's undefeated. Just 40 seconds into the fight, Herbert landed a picture-perfect left high kick that sent Topuria crashing to the canvas. The commentary team couldn't believe what they were seeing. Herbert swarmed for the finish, but Topuria survived and managed to secure a takedown against the cage. The first round ended with Herbert still in control, and it looked like the upset was brewing. But in the second round, Topuria came back like a man possessed. He closed the distance, backed Herbert to the cage, and unleashed a devastating combination. A left hook to the body, followed by a perfect overhand right that shut Herbert's lights. It was a walk-off knockout. The dramatic comeback knockout was catching the attention of established UFC stars. Jorge Masvidal, who had been keeping a close eye on Topuria's rise, publicly endorsed him as a future champion.
There's another guy up and coming. Keep your eyes on him. That guy's gonna be a problem, man.
What class?
45. He just fought at 55 right now, but he's really a 45. He's pretty damn good, you know. Might be a future world champion there.
Later, Topuria reflected on how close he came to losing. Herbert was humble in defeat, and even Paddy Pimblett, who had been hoping Herbert would win, had to give credit where it was due. Topuria had survived his toughest test yet and proven he had the heart of a champion. Next came Bryce Mitchell at UFC 282 in December 2022. Mitchell was an undefeated grappling wizard with a perfect 15-0 record and was known for his elite submission game. Many believed Mitchell's grappling would be the toughest test yet for Topuria, but heading into the fight, Topuria was confident he could handle anything Mitchell threw at him.
He's got grappling skills. It's really good, but mine's is even better. You know, my background is BJJ and wrestling, so he didn't gonna surprise me with anything he gonna bring on Saturday night. So I know what's gonna happen. I know that I'm gonna put him to sleep, and I think he already knows it too.
Mitchell wasn't buying the hype and believed his grappling would be the difference.
Is being the first man, or potentially the first man, to hand him a loss, does that mean anything to you?
I don't really care about his record or him that much.
How do you see this fight playing out, and what is your prediction Saturday?
Predict I'm gonna win.
Inside the cage, Topuria put on a striking masterclass. He picked Mitchell apart with precise combinations and made it look easy. Mitchell tried to close the distance and initiate grappling exchanges, but Topuria's takedown defense held strong. With just over 2 minutes left in the second round, Mitchell desperately shot for a takedown. Topuria reversed it, took top position, and unleashed brutal ground and pound before locking in an arm triangle choke. Mitchell was forced to tap at 3:10 of the second round.
I wish I wouldn't even took the fight, but I didn't know it would mess me up that bad, so I thought I'd be able to hang in there for all 3 rounds, because that's, you know, what I trained for. I trained for my cardio to be there the whole time, and it wasn't even there one bit of the time, so I'll come back stronger. I just hate going out on that one, you know, like that, but I will be better. I'll be all right. Thank y'all.
Topuria was climbing the rankings and making a statement with every performance. After dismantling Mitchell, Topuria got his biggest test yet against number 5 ranked Josh Emmett at UFC on ABC 5 in June 2023. Emmett was a knockout artist with devastating power in his hands, and this was Topuria's chance to break into the top 5. Heading into the fight, both men were extremely confident, but Emmett made it clear he wasn't impressed by Topuria's hype.
The holes that I do see in his game, I'm not going to tell you guys. You guys are just going to have to watch on the 24th and see how I do capitalize on that. Everyone's always the next champion, the next contender, the next big thing. This is going to be a tough test for him.
Emmett doubled down, saying he expected to knock Topuria out.
But I think I have more power, faced opponents like him, and he's never faced anyone like me.
Topuria, however, wasn't fazed by Emmett's power and was ready to prove he was the more technical striker.
He got that powerful right hand and left hand, but that's all he got, you know. I'm better than him in wrestling, in the ground game, even in striking. So you're all gonna see my game plan for tomorrow night. It's going to be real quick. I'm gonna put him to sleep.
Inside the octagon, Topuria put on a 5-round masterclass. He outstruck Emmett, landed the cleaner shots, mixed in his wrestling, and controlled the pace of the fight. Emmett landed some big shots of his own, but Topuria's chin held up, and he never stopped pressing forward. After 5 grueling rounds, all 3 judges scored the fight for Topuria, giving him the unanimous decision victory and launching him into title contention.
No, I knew he'd come out hard, you know, like he's a good boxer, but no, he didn't surprise me anything. But I wish him nothing but the best, man, moving forward.
Topuria had proven he could go 5 hard rounds with a top contender and come out on top. A title shot was next. Next came his shot at featherweight gold against Alexander Volkanovski at UFC 298 in February 2024. Volkanovski was the number 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world and had never lost at featherweight in the UFC. But he was coming off a brutal knockout loss to Islam Makhachev just 4 months earlier, and questions remained about whether he'd return too soon. Volkanovski, however, wasn't concerned. Despite being 35 years old and criticized for his age, Volkanovski brushed off the doubters.
Well, yeah, mate, look good. Good skill set. You know what I mean? Does a lot of things right. Like he's neat, but yeah, I just believe you need to have more than that with someone like me. I believe that I'm going to be, teaching him a lesson February. I can't wait to do it, and looking forward to going out there and really putting on a show. I'm ready, for a young, hungry prospect to come and bring a fight, but I won't be surprised, and you shouldn't be surprised if I make it look easy. If he doesn't land a punch and I ragdoll him and make him look like nothing in there, you shouldn't be surprised.
Topuria, on the other hand, was supremely confident that he'd become the new champion, even updating his social media bio to read UFC World Champion weeks before the fight.
Same as always, I'm gonna finish him in the first round.
Using his movement and variety of kicks to keep Topuria at bay. The first round was close and competitive, but in the second round, everything changed. Topuria backed Volkanovski against the cage, landed a left hand, and then threw a massive right hook that shut Volkanovski's lights out completely. The champion collapsed unconscious to the canvas, ending his 4-year reign and making Topuria the first ever Georgian and Spanish UFC champion.
I feel so happy, Joe. I feel so happy right now. They're gonna tell you you can do it. They're gonna knock you down and doubt you. But guess what? The only person you need to achieve anything in this life is yourself. Just trust yourself, work tirelessly, have faith, and everything is possible. Look at me. Look at me now.
Topuria had done exactly what he promised, and he was emotional in victory.
I just know my skills, Joe. I work so hard. I work so hard for this one. I was knowing always like one day I will become a UFC World Champion. So, guys, it doesn't matter where you come from if you know where you're going. It's much more important what's in front of you than what's behind you.
Volkanovski was respectful in defeat, but immediately called for a rematch.
Yeah, well, that's obviously has the powers in the hands. We knew you got to be careful of that. Yeah, well done to him. He called me. I was going to start working everything, and he got me. So credit to him. Obviously, he's a hard hitter. We knew that going in. He wasn't meant to land like that, but he did. So credit to him. Obviously, I've been champion of this featherweight division a long time. He keeps mentioning Spain. Maybe we'll do a rematch over there in Spain.
After demolishing Volkanovski, Topuria's first title defense came against another featherweight legend, Max Holloway, at UFC 308 in October 2024. Holloway was the BMF champion, coming off a legendary last-second knockout of Justin Gaethje at UFC 300, and he was hungry to reclaim the featherweight belt he once held. Heading into the fight, Topuria wanted to recreate Holloway's iconic moment from UFC 300, but do it in the opening seconds instead.
In the first 10 seconds of the fight, I'm gonna point the ground and we'll see what he's going to do. I will be in the middle of the octagon, so let's bang, bro. If you're ready, I was born ready. First 10 seconds, I'm gonna point the middle of the octagon and I will stay there. I wanna give the best and the most excited 10 seconds in the UFC history to the fans. They deserve it. And if he stays in the middle, I promise I'm gonna knock him out. I'm gonna take his head off.
Topuria made it clear he was testing Holloway's toughness.
He's calling himself the BMF. So that's one of the things we're gonna find out.
Right.
If he's the BMF or he's like everyone who is predicting that I'm going to lose to Max Holloway.
Holloway, however, wasn't buying into Topuria's mind games.
And the belt is called, the blessed man forever, or what you guys want to call the baddest mother effer. If the belt was the DMF, the dumbest mother effer, then maybe I would get sucked into it, but it's far from that, man. He talks about being a boxer. I mean, that's not very much boxer IQ-ish of him, but we'll see what happens.
Inside the cage, the fight started competitive. Topuria landed damaging leg kicks in the first round, while Holloway used his volume striking to keep the pressure on. In the second round, both fighters had their moments in a back-and-forth striking battle. But in the third round, everything changed. Topuria landed a massive right hand that visibly hurt Holloway, causing him to stumble backward. Sensing the finish, Topuria stalked him along the cage and unleashed a devastating left hook that knocked Holloway unconscious at 1:34 of the third round. Topuria had just done what no one else had ever done. He knocked out Max Holloway.
To beat a legend like Max Holloway, It's something that I can't even believe it, you know. I just followed his entire career. He inspired me so much in my career. He's been a great example for the generation, and I always have been said that I represent now the new generation, and I hope I'm gonna be a small portion of the example he has been for me, for the new generation. I caught you with many punches, but exactly with that right hand, I felt it. I just saw it in his face. He started making some step backs, and you don't see that often in Max Holloway.
Topuria knew exactly when the fight turned. Topuria also admitted he was slightly disappointed that Holloway didn't meet him in the center for the opening exchange he had promised.
When you called me out, you said, I'm the bull, y el matador is running from me. You never see a bull doing this, right? So, yeah, that surprised me a little bit. So I had to change the game plan a little bit, but at the end of the day, I get the knockout.
Holloway was gracious in defeat.
He just landed a shot, and I guess it hurt much more than I thought it did. So hats off to him. No excuses. I felt great. I had a great camp, no injuries. I went out here, did my thing.
And after the fight, Topuria celebrated with both the featherweight belt and a replica BMF belt, claiming he deserved both. With back-to-back knockouts over Volkanovski and Holloway, two of the greatest featherweights of all time, Topuria had cemented himself as the most dangerous fighter in the division. But he wasn't done yet. He had his eyes set on an even bigger prize, the lightweight title. In February 2025, Topuria vacated his featherweight title to move up to lightweight and challenge Islam Makhachev. But when Makhachev vacated to chase welterweight gold, Topuria was booked against former champion Charles Oliveira for the vacant title at UFC 317. Oliveira, the UFC's all-time leader in finishes, was getting his third shot at lightweight gold. Topuria predicted yet another first-round knockout, and he explained exactly why he felt so confident.
So I wanted to move up, I wanted to fight for the title, this is what I'm doing. So he walks forward. I'm not gonna need to close the distance with him. Since the first moment, we are gonna find each other in the center of the octagon, so yeah. It's gonna be a first-round finish.
The skill development I'm bringing in the sport, they never felt it. They never saw it. So this is what's gonna happen with Charles. He thinks that he has some opportunities, but the reality is that he has not. The only thing he has to do is like show up, and I'm gonna do the rest.
What are you envisioning now as far as the way the fight goes?
I'm gonna finish him in the first round.
Oliveira, however, was focused on his own game plan and believed his experience would be the difference.
Sim, ele é cara que tá vindo com sede, é cara que tá vindo invicto, mas será que ele tem mais fome do que eu? Será que ele quer isso mais do que eu?
Inside the cage, Oliveira came out aggressive and managed to briefly get the fight to the ground, but Topuria was too slick and escaped back to his feet. Once standing, it was all Topuria. He landed a sharp right hand that stunned Oliveira, then immediately followed up with a devastating left hook that sent Oliveira crashing to the canvas, unconscious before he even hit the mat. The fight was over at just 2:27 of the first round. Topuria had done it again, another first-round knockout in championship belt. He had become the 10th multi-division champion in UFC history, and he did it while maintaining his perfect undefeated record.
I already said it, I represent the new generation of the mixed martial arts. This is the next level of the game. This is the next thing, and this is what I represent.
Oliveira took the loss hard and immediately apologized to his fans. Weeks after the fight, Oliveira reflected on what went wrong and admitted he abandoned his game plan.
Eu nunca fui nocauteado. Tá ligado? Eu nunca tinha sido nocauteado. Tinha tomado knockout, tomado TKO, mas nunca tinha sido nocauteado. Tomei ali, levantei e tava de boa. Ali não. Não sabia o que tinha acontecido, não sabia como tava, né? É algo novo pra mim. Né? Então, treinar tanto, se dedicar tanto, sabe? Aprender tanto e chegar na luta e você não conseguir fazer aquilo que você treinou, se dedicou, lógico que você fica chateado, mas faz parte. Isso é o MMA, ele é imprevisível, tudo pode acontecer.
Ilia Topuria is truly like a final boss in a video game. He is well-rounded, ice-cold under pressure, and nearly impossible to beat. He has conquered 2 divisions, knocked out legends, and remains undefeated at 17-0. With 2 belts around his waist and no signs of slowing down, the question isn't just who can beat him, it's whether anyone even comes close. Is there anyone who can beat him? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel.